Okay, it's 7:03 p.m. on September the 30th, 2024. Assembled here for the here's Amy. Assembled here for the board meeting this evening. Myself, Rob Smith, Shanda Schwartz, Heather Fitch. Um, uh, Robin is here. Yep, got Robin and Justin was here. Justin's here and Justin's here. So all five members of the board are here. Quorum is established. Purpose of the meeting is for a singular motion to dismiss the current treasurer, which is Justin, from his position as the treasurer. And any discussion from any of the board members before we proceed? If there's anybody, I'd just keep it to a minute, please.
Yeah, can I speak prior to the motion, Rob?
Well, the motion's on the table, but you're welcome to speak. Just keep it to a minute if you could.
Yeah, I'll be brief. Um,
Thanks.
since July 10th, I've spent more than a dozen hours on board meetings, made more than 2 hours of instructional YouTube videos, provided more than 30 email attachments, including spreadsheets, PDFs, trying to help the board and community understand the finances of AGOA Inc. Through the lens of a certified public accountant, the existence of this meeting is an indication that I failed. The community is in a strong financial position. We currently have over 800,000 in invested assets, more than 60,000 in cash on hand, a run rate of more than approximately $310,000 each year, and a fixed burn rate of less than 250,000. The last 2 months were focused on determining the financial statement line item proportionality used to divide the net cash fluctuation each year into townhome and single family home responsibilities, means taking the sum total of cash inflows minus the sum total of cash outflows from the beginning of the calendar year through its end, and then dividing the balances for each general ledger account into two columns. It's important to note that there is no governing document that guides the division of expenses between a single family home and townhome expense. It is an internally calculated value. The last two videos I made documented the annual process for determining those values. For 2023, this process required a revision of landscaping and insurance estimates from our vendors, which changed our initial net income calculations for 2023 from 46K and 9K for townhome and single family homes, respectively, to 40K and 15K. When trying to determine the appropriate proportionality between townhome fund, which is comprised exclusively of townhome dollars, the general fund, which is comprised of both townhome dollars and single family home dollars, it was discovered that the beginning balances in the 2023 reserve study were incorrect and unreliable. This discovery complicated the exercise of answering the question, whose money was whose, for the cash accumulated by the association at a single point in time, namely the beginning of each calendar year. The videos I made also recorded a highly transparent process that provided homeowners with a specific level of responsibility they've never had visibility into before. For example, as an individual townhome owner, they contributed approximately $2,600 annually. Approximately $600 of that went into savings last year. Last year, they also spent $160 annually on townhome maintenance, only $720 on townhome landscaping, and more than $500 went toward townhome only insurance. As a single family homeowner and townhome owner alike, approximately $50 of the annual contribution last year went to pay for the pool, $68 paid for the management co. About $170 from each homeowner in the neighborhood went toward utilities and so on. We still have the money to make some real improvements to this place, and the community still has needs that are unaddressed. In calendar year 2024, we are still on track to be cash flow positive, which means ending the year with more cash than we began with. To contrast 2024 with prior years in the association's history, in 2020, the association took a loss position by $10,000, beginning the year at 635K and ending it at 625K. Said another way, it is normal and historically observable in the association's financial history for higher spending years to trade off with higher savings years. I am still best suited to be treasurer, but it's become clear I will not be permitted to accomplish the objectives I set out when agreeing to be treasurer for a second term. In July, I was unaware of the power dynamics and political posturing I was walking into. Regrettably, I believe this meeting's outcome was determined prior to its beginning and has been long planned. Since July, three board members have resigned in fewer than as many months. I also believe failed organizations begin with failed leadership, as the body of a snake follows its head. Because I will not subject myself to further insult and ridicule by fellow board members, I will hereby follow them and resign from the board effective immediately. Good luck to you all.
Okay. Thanks for the information, and do appreciate the effort that Justin's put in. I think that's not the question. Um, that absolves the board from needing to move forward with any further motion or vote. Does any other board member have anything they'd like to say since we've got time here? Robin, you're muted. And I only asked because I saw Robin's camera come on, and I was like, I don't normally see Robin pop the camera on, so I was like, I must have something to say. So,
Hi.
Hey.
I will say this very, very quickly, and I'm gonna try to do it succinctly. As someone who's lived in this neighborhood 10 and a half years and has avoided any potential of being caught in a line of fire anywhere near the HOA, to the best of my ability, and someone who may not be a licensed CPA yet, but has been in the field for over 14 years and also has a legal background, it is important for every single person in this neighborhood to take the information that was stated by Justin and understand it for yourself. Because within that, there's an assumption that the single family homeowners are okay with subsidizing the town homeowners' expenses. I'm a firm believer that this should be one neighborhood. But I'm also a firm believer that depending on which type of home a person or family chose to live in, there are certain responsibilities that are required. And at this time, the townhome owners' monthly dues are not covering their expenses. And that I feel a burden about that with my limited time on this board. And figuring out how to fix it is the challenge. And when it comes to leadership, a leader, whether you are the head, the tail, or in between, a leader will face those who challenge you and work with them and figure out what is going on. How do I know this? I know this from experience. Just because you don't like a decision, a determination, that does not mean that you excommunicate yourself from communication. It means you dig in and figure out what it is and learn what the problem is. Is it communication? Is it understanding? Is it just dynamic? But for the limited time I've been on this board, that has not occurred. And I'm very approachable to always learn, always understand, even if I know you oppose how I feel or view. And so I think it needs to be clear for whoever else is on this call who is not on the board. It is important for you to remove any personal feelings, private conversations aside, and ask us what is occurring and what do I need to understand. Be objective and be willing to learn, even if it's against your initial feelings. And that's all I have to say.
Anybody else from the board? I know Shanda has prior engagement. Her husband's birthday is today, and she was nice enough to be here for the call. I appreciate that. There is the point of the motion was to, I want to make sure in case somebody procedurally wonders later, the point of the motion was to merely dismiss the treasurer from the treasurer's position as an officer, not to remove him from the board. However, I will accept his resignation. So the resignation leaves an opening on the board again. And I think that's easy enough. We had two individuals who reach out prior to this that were interested. Robin was one of them. Matt was the other. I think the board should discuss reaching out to Matt. So that would be my suggestion. With that, I'll go ahead and motion at 7:13 p.m. to adjourn the meeting. Thank you for being here.